welcome back. So this is mission 3 of the Attrition of War campaign. Basically the Germans under my command and Richard doing rather well. So this game, as you'll see from the lists, we're going to be throwing in the Panzers and seeing how they do, since I can't see any other mission that they all get involved in really. So let's use them this mission and see if we can take out some of the Soviets at the same time. As with previous missions in this campaign, we will have a look at the regiment lists now that they've been altered. So some spending has been done. With the Soviets, there's only one thing that has been spent because they're a little strapped for cash, and we'll see that on the next slide. Okay, so I hope you noticed they went down from 11 reserve points to 10 because Mike has purchased Make Your Own Luck again. He's very in love with this card, but it is a very good card to use. It's better than Lucky. So that's the only alteration with the Soviet list. Okay, with my list, a lot of reserve points have been spent to add the NCOs back in. High Command have given me NCOs now, but obviously the points reflect all the fuel and time is taken to get them to their units. I've also purchased Pack Front again to use for next game, and that is about it. So we'll look at the mission and then we'll go for the lists for the game. So today's mission is Breakthrough. Richard does have a slight bonus from his victory last game, and that is he gets to roll an additional dice for his reserve roll, so that's going to be pretty good. But as you see with the lists, it's going to be a bit tricky for him. Okay, so here's the Soviet list for today. It's still 120 points. Might look a bit different to the last two games because Mike has been really busy, so I gave him a hand and I suggested this list to him if he was happy to use it, and he went yes. So although I wrote both lists, trying to be this is what I would probably run the Soviets for this game, and a decent amount of, well, a lot of infantry and decent tanks as well. And if when I shared this to the group, Richard said, "Oh, that's not many," and I don't think he really looked at the quantity of teams in each unit. But when he turned up and saw the models on the side of the table, he changed his mind quite quickly. Okay, so this is the Rifle Battalion. So we have the HQ, the SMG team who have a flamethrower, and then we have the remnants of the scouts. So these are the still surviving scouts from the first game. There were 6 of them. There is actually one of their teams are in the reserve pool, so maybe stuff might get purchased for them at some point. But yeah, so let's go on to the rifle company. Okay, so here we have the 2 rifle companies. Absolutely whopping 13 teams with a commissar and a flamethrower added on top of that, and you have that twice. And with the commissar, they are motivation of 3+, and their skill is quite decent as well. No, they're not hitting on 2s in assaults like the SMG team, but 3's pretty good. And obviously having a flamethrower team as well isn't bad either. Still in the formation, we have units of mortars. So we have 6 82mm mortars and 6 120mm mortars. Quite cheap Soviet mortars, and they come in 6s as well, which is great because you get to re-roll your hits. Skill can let them down a little bit, but when you do range them in, they can be nasty, especially the big ones. Here we have the supports. We have 4 SU-100s. Give them a little hand. This is their debut today. Hopefully the curse of debuts on this channel will not be so bad for them. Debuts on this channel don't tend to go well. We also have 5 T-34-85s and then just 5 regular T-34s. And that's pretty much scraping the barrel, really. They would have liked to put another 85 barrel in with the T-34s. But we run out of points, so that's the list, and now we have 1 command card. And the other command card is Make Your Own Luck. You should be able to make out what it does. If you have not used it before, it is a very good command card. And here we have the German list, a tank company, a Panzer company. These guys have been brought in. They've been sat on the sidelines for a few games now while the infantry doing all the dirty work. But now the plan is infantry is starting to pull back, and the Panzers have been rushed in to cover the retreat because they can pull back out. And in my mission briefing for Richard, I have said I do not mind a loss this game. But as long as he takes as many Soviets with him as possible and maybe try not to lose the 8.8 centimeter guns, I will be happy, since I can't see the Panzer formation being used later on in the campaign. And I knew as well the Soviets would not have a T-34 battalion based on the losses they took over the last 2 games. So we'll see how it goes. It's up to Richard to use them well. Okay, and this is it. They're the Panzer IV company. So we have HQ of 2 Panzer IVs, and then we have a platoon of 4 Panzer IVs, and then 3 Panthers. Now, Panthers overall don't do well on this channel, and Tom was probably watching this, and he is hoping that they do well, knowing Tom, because if you don't know Tom on his channel, he does love a Panther. So let's hope they do a good game, at least for him. Okay, so in support, going from left to right, we have an armoured Panzer Grenadier platoon. Now, these are 20th Division because they've been asked to help out with the withdrawal. They are mounted, so they can help out. And then we have another Spever band with a Panzerschreck. I've actually paid points for these out of the reserve points, just because they don't count towards the models deployed on the table. Help me out. And then there are 4 8.8 centimeter tank hunter guns. If they're going to hit something, it's going to die, but they do need to hit it, and there's actually quite a few Soviet tanks for them to deal with. And then 4 points I had left over, so I put in 2 Pumas Mogul MGs. Not too bad on the front armor either, and going around the side can deal with some T-34s as well. So that is the models, and then we have some command cards. Okay, so these are for the infantry platoons. There's another command card as well for them. So again, 20th NCO shortage, that's the theme of my regiment, and then a Spever band. Again, am I saying it right? I don't know yet, because by the time this all goes out, it's going to be quite a few weeks later. So all your comments save to the last video so I can actually see them all. Okay, and then the last 2, pack front, we all know what that one does, and then the Panzer Pioneer platoon, that's attached to the armoured Panzer Grenadiers, because the plan is they are going to be in reserve, and they'll be driving on to one of the objectives that are most needed, and they're going to be digging in. And what's better than digging in than having a 2+ to do it on, although it's easier said than done when Richard's rolling the dice. Okay, Oracle of Battle of Time. So basically, Jen, I showed her the 2 armies, and she kind of went for the Soviets straight away, since they dwarfed their German opposition. And, you know, as they say, sometimes quantity has a quality of its own. So we'll see if Jen is right today. Okay, so the table for today looks like we've left that horrible boggy terrain behind, and we are in a bit more forgiving terrain. So we have some forests, we have a river, so that's going to be cross checks. We do have some swamps near the river bends, and then it's just crops. We have a little town with a little town square, and then we have a isolated farm as well with a little hill. So quite a nice cover this time, only the one hill in the corner, and basically the top left and bottom right are going to be the Germans. As you can see here, you can already see the Soviet objectives. So the Soviets will be attacking from the top right, which isn't too bad, really, to be attacking from. So there we go. Okay then, so we're deployed. The Germans have put the Pumas over here behind the square, and the Spever band is in the semi-detached house. And we have 88s in this section here, in their pack fronts, looking down at the Soviets, and then we have the Panzer IV HQs,
and then the two other 88s over here. Now in ambush we have the Panthers, and then we have the Armoured Pioneers and the Panzer IVs in reserve. And for this mission, Richard will be gaining an extra dice every time he rolls for reserves because of the result for the next game. And here we have the Soviet horde ready to move up. So we have the SMG company by here, and then we have the T-34s by here, and then we have 1st Company and the HQ ready with them. We also have the T-34 85s by here, 2nd Company, the SU-100s, and then we have all the mortars back here. So let's just point them the right way. Cherry's a bit of a noob. So yeah, I'm doing it wrong now. So yeah, there we go. That is deployment, and we have Soviets turn 1. Good luck to both of you.
Thank you.
Cheers, thanks.
Okay, Soviet movement recap. The SMG company has moved through here, terrain dash with a follow me. And then 1st Company has occupied these buildings here, and some of them still can't fit through, so they're back here. All the T-34s realised that the HQ Panzer IVs right by there, so all but 3 had to move. The rest got to swivel their turrets. And then basically 2nd Company has managed to do a follow me as well, so they could be potentially in assault range of these Panzer IVs. And then the SU-100s did a terrain dash over by here to hide from the horrible 88s over here. So we have Soviet shooting. I suppose we'll start off with some artillery. So let's see how it goes. Okay, Soviet shooting. They've managed to bail out one of the Panzer IVs. Unfortunately not the best one, but the assault should be able to go in with only 4 defensive fire shots. The artillery that was already ranged in over here managed to pin the unit, and the other artillery ranged in over here, and they managed to pin this 88 but not kill it, so that's a bit unfortunate. But that is it. So we do have an assault if Sherry wants to do it. Yes, she does. Okay, so we'll do that and we'll see what happens. Okay, so basically the assault went in. Richard got 2 hits, but Sherry managed to pass all of them. They then got 4 hits, and that's what... yeah. So the Panzer IV HQ is dead, and then these guys get to run back into their little building or move a bit further forward. But yeah, that's what you get, kids, when you put Panzer IVs really close to the enemy deployment zone. But yeah, so they're gone, blown up, and then we go into German turn 1. Okay, so German motivation and movement. The Armoured Pioneers have come in over this section, and the everything that was pinned has remained pinned. So good, successful Soviet artillery, and the Pumas have moved back across the forward terrain dash and then a follow me. And that is it. So now we have German shooting. So it's just going to be 88 really picking off, and maybe some sporadic machine gun fire from this lot, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so German shooting. The 88, so this one here, had to fire at this poor SMG company. They actually killed someone, almost got the flamethrower, but luckily not. This guy over here had a long Hail Mary shot at this T-34, hit it twice, so yeah, he's pretty dead. The guys here managed to pin 1st Company in the hotel by here, the bank. So they're pinned, and then the other 88s, the guy who's pinned has missed completely, and then the other guy went for the SU-100s and managed to blow a hole in the unit leader, who is swapped. So that is it. So now we go into Soviet turn 2. Okay, so Soviet movement. These guys are continuing on. There's still a few more in the building because these guys did a follow me. And then over in the town square, this rifle company didn't like getting pinned last turn, so they're going over, and they got 2 flamethrowers, one from the rifle company and one from the SMGs. ready. They're already pinned. It's just it's always good to cook your Germans before you eat them. And then you got the T-34. Some of them will be able to get some fire, and then the other T-34s doing the right thing and just taking some cover in the farms. So we'll have Soviet shooting. No doubt will be dominated quite a lot by artillery, but we'll see what happens. So Soviet shooting. Okay, Soviet shooting. The 120mm mortars have got rid of the pack front here, and then over here 2 of the grenadiers have been burnt to death, but there was a very large amount of fire going in, but it was the flamethrowers who did the work. So, well, as you can see, there will be an assault going in on these guys, but will it go through? We shall see. Okay, so the Soviet assault, it took there's one assault went in, then a counterattack, and then another one. In total, 2 Soviets died. Only one to defensive fire, and then 2 in the assault, so 3 total. But the Sparrow Band has been taken out, and First Company again is pinned, and that is it. So now we're going to German turn 2. Okay, so German motivation. There was no motivation to do because everything that was pinned is now dead. Ambush has come in now, so let's get rid of this terrible piece of paper terrain. So the Panthers have popped their ambush by here because they're concealed, and then the Panzer IVs have come in by here, right behind the SUs 100. So that's a bit of a shame because well, it's kind of a tandem thing. These had to come in here for these to come in here, and Richard was rolling 3 dice, so even if he failed, he got to bring them on anyway, because of the rule for last game. So yeah, hopefully you can neutralise these, and then the Panthers should be looking in a bit of a better position. And then, luckily, these guys don't have the RPG grenades, because otherwise these Panthers would not be by there. But let's see what happens in the movement, and think there's going to be much movement other than the Grenadiers going out, so we'll just show that and then we will go into shooting. Okay, yeah, so the only movement we had, oh, actually there was a little bit more. So these guys went out from their half tracks, and then the Pumas tried getting into the woods, but as you can see, one didn't. They also did a cross here as well, so yeah, that's a bit embarrassing. Okay, so German movement tick, German shooting pending. Okay, German shooting is mostly anti-tank guns, but they are doing quite well. These anti-tank guns have managed to get rid of 4 of the SMG company, which is, well, pretty decent. This anti-tank gun just missed his shot going down here. The SU-100, there's only 1 remaining, but he's not bailed, so that's good. And then 4 of 2nd Company got downed by Panthers. And then they also did a shooting scoop to angle their turrets a little bit better. In case the SU-100 gets up onto the ridge, which we could do. So we have Soviet turn 3. Okay, Soviet motivation. We have a rally, and we have a successful last stand, but the scouts are not here yet. We don't know where they are. Drinking vodka, no doubt. So we have Soviet movement, and the Soviet storm continues to move. Okay, Soviet movement, turn 3. The SMG company is tacticaled with a follow me, moving up onto this 88 here, and then First Company is back here. HQ's stayed in the building because he needs some spotting. T-34s are moving up. 2nd Company are unpinned, moving up with the T-34 85s, and the SU, who can last stand, has also done a blitz onto the hill. Unfortunately no side shots, but AT-15, there's only 1 shot though, and he's hitting on a 4, so make your own luck might be a good choice. We'll do some maths and we'll go into the shooting. Okay, so let's do the interesting bit over here first. So the SU used make your own luck to get a hit, and then Richard failed to save, and then Sherry blew it up. These guys, was it 1 hit, wasn't it, they got? But went straight through and blew up. So we have 1 active Panther who's in assault range with backup of an 88. So we'll see. So that's the interesting stuff. And then over here, the artillery ranged in on their 2nd attempt and managed to kill 1 of the Grenadiers. They're pinned, and then loads of MG fire went into them, but nothing really. So there's a couple of assaults. We have the easy one, which is going on to the 88, and then we have the slightly trickier one with potentially a game-winning assault onto a Panther. So, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so assaults. The Panthers survived just 7 hits in total. No casualties on the Soviets. And luckily no 1s. Quite a few 2s though, wasn't it? So he failed, and because the 88 was within 6, surrendered. And in the same situation over there, both 88s have fallen to the SMG company, again, for no casualties. Soviets are just unstoppable. So, we go into German turn 3. Last stand. We might record this last stand, because it'll be interesting. And we'll do that at the end, so we'll go into German turn 3. Okay, so motivation so far. The only thing to unpin was the armoured pioneers, and they've unpinned, as you'd expect. And we have a 3+ last stand on this Panther, otherwise it's game. So here we have the dice. Oh,
I quite wanted to see next turn. I'm quite excited.
It's the curse of the Panthers. But as I said to Richard in my dispatches, as I've made notes to confidential. That's where they blurred. So basically, I didn't mind losing this game, and that's why we threw the tanks in, because they weren't really going to play much further part in the game. I was hoping he would kill a few more Soviets in this, though. This is a stunning victory for Soviets, so well done. So yes, so we'll do some man of the matches. Sherry, who's your man of the match? You got like pretty much everything, did everything.
Yeah, I mean, everything did everything. I would say that guy only because he did get me in where he needed to be.
Yeah.
You know, he did pull through quite a few things on the Blitz as well, so...
Yeah. What about Second Company though? Because they took out the HQ, and they're the ones who pushed their way through and threatened Panthers.
Yeah, they were good guys. They did back him off a bit.
Yeah, I think Second Company, because obviously if they hadn't killed the Panzer IVs, obviously him running away wouldn't mean anything.
They just kept swinging and coming back and then going forward and just getting them. So yeah, they were doing good.
And Richard.
Well, I don't get man of the match because I really messed up with my tank deployment. I haven't played tanks for a little while.
Fair play.
Maybe the Panzer IVs, but I wanted them to. Their job was to take out all of them in one turn, and they didn't. Yeah,
the big difference with the SUs is being hit on 4s for the Soviets is very good. I think he rolled a 3. I think it might have been for the other hit. So yeah, that really paid the price there. And then also being a 3+ last stand and a 3+ skill really did. So a nice debut for this guy. So yeah, well done. So good job, Soviets, on it. Well, not just their first win, but a stunning victory, no doubt. You'll actually have some reinforcement points to spend. Luckily, don't really need to replace too much for the Germans coming up into next game, but you do get an advantage going into next game because of the stunning victory, which I'll make sure to remember this time. So thanks for watching. Take some photos, and what we'll do after this, we'll show where the regiments look. So for the Soviets, actually needed a win here.
Okay, so let's have a look how the regiments stand now before the reinforcement phase. So, yeah, that Panzer IV company didn't do so well, did it? Well, I would have liked not to have suffered a stunning defeat and have taken a few more Soviets, although the Soviets will have to rejig their regiment. Panthers, surprise again, although there's some things really went right for the Soviets and went really wrong for Richard for that to happen. So regroup, still got plenty of infantry, and there's a few points to spend, which you'll see in the next page. Okay, so quite a few things went into reserves. So there's an extra half track because the armoured platoon went down to 5, so they had a half track free, so they've gone back to the depot to be used. So I might rejig some of the MG42 teams around and make some full strength teams. We'll be spending some points next time. I've already done a list, so I have a spending list. Probably the heavy AAs are going to be brought back in. Already have machine gun nests, I hope. I might have to buy them as well, and some 8cm mortars as well. So it's going to be an infantry company outing again, and some AA guns, because it's going to be a fighting withdrawal mission, and I need some cheap units to start plucking off before my formation gets destroyed. And that is it. So now we'll have a look at the Soviets. Okay, so the Soviet battalions look a little threadbare, but that is because there's quite a lot in the reserve pool. Obviously, at this point, Mike has not rejigged anything, but he has enough to reinforce his battalions easily, and it's not going to cost him too many points to buy the SMG teams back. So we'll have a look at the reserve pool, and Cherry got quite a tasty amount of points for that game, 40 reserve points for that victory. That's more than they've had combined so far. So there we go, the reserve pool, quite a lot of stuff there waiting just to come back from reserve, and 50 reserve points, plenty. So I can actually buy the guns that can fire smoke this time. Guarantee make your own luck is being bought again. Sherry has expressed that she would not want the reserve points to be spent on tanks again, since the infantry did so well today, but it is for Mike to make his decision, as he is a regimental officer. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed the administration side of things. I have a few things to do. I have to spend points, but we will come back to it, and we will wait for the next game.